and welcome back to another episode of the Convoluted Podcast. It's your host, Liz, and I'm with here Tyrant Dominus, aka Jesus. And if you're first time listening, so always follow and subscribe. If not, we're not making you. But we appreciate if you do listen to us and support us.
Exactly.
How you doing, Jesus?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And once again, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was fun last night. It was definitely fun. It was enjoyable. It was good food, good atmosphere.
But yeah, we everyone congratulate Liz down in the comments or on thing for her birthday. Yeah, we went out to a really nice restaurant. For anyone who knows, I hate Portland for the life of me. It's just big cities with very varied street directions is so frustrating. But I was very fortunate that I was one and done, and I didn't have to do loops. So, but overall, yeah, it was a fun time. You found this really nice, like not niche restaurant, but a really interesting restaurant. Shoot, what was the name of the fucking restaurant?
Butterfly Belly. It's in Portland. They're an all gluten-free Asian cuisine place. It's amazing. They make their sauces in-house. I think we all enjoyed the food. And the drinks were delicious. I mean, it was different and out of our little realm.
I'll say my first drink was lackluster. So the rest was good.
Yeah, lackluster on that first one. But I mean, the other one seemed like it was pretty good.
Oh no, yeah. But yeah, you can't hit a 5 out of 5 all the time, right? But overall, I enjoyed it. I think everyone enjoyed it. From everyone finished their plate. We finished those plates. But yeah,
you couldn't tell it was gluten free. It was delicious. It was good.
If the guy would not have said anything, I was like, okay. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. They had karaoke. The atmosphere was good. It's very fun to be able to go out and enjoy these events every once in a while. And,
did you know they're going to be dropping mask mandates in hospital settings soon?
Oh my god, are you gonna be a normal worker? Are you gonna be like the rest of us?
I am actually gonna be like. Hopefully, we'll be able to wear the mask only when I go into patients' rooms. So that's my only thing I probably will do going forward. But I mean, otherwise, I'll be happy to walk into work without having to find my mask in my pockets to put it on before I walk in the door.
You'll be like the rest of us, degenerates.
I know, right?
But yeah. But overall,
it was cute, and you thought it was kind of like a hole in the wall, almost kind of thing, because the way the setting looked outside, but when you walked in, it was a lot bigger building.
True. Anything else you enjoyed for your birthday besides that?
I got my nails done.
Oh yeah! If anyone sees on the video portion, you can see that like turquoise or something.
It's like a minty green, I call it. So it's very
maybe
pretty.
it might not come out on the video that well, but it's cool. They look cool. So yeah,
my toes are called Sexy Silhouette. It's like a pinkish red.
Nice. There you go.
I had a couple cards and a coworker of mine. I celebrated her birthday on her birthday, and she was closing a house on her birthday, so I got her like a housewarming / birthday gift. So kind of commemorate it, like, hoo-hoo, you did it, kind of thing.
Cheapskate, Liz. Come on, you gotta do the double gift.
So she bought me some gluten-free and a prosecco too. So it was good. I got her like some utensils and a card and stuff, just a candle and a prosecco for her homing and her birthday and stuff like that. So it was good. And then my mom also got me the same cupcakes that she had bought me. So they're gluten-free, of course, and they're delicious. There were 8 muffins, and now there's 3.
Nice.
There's been other people besides myself eating it, but it's been delicious.
Hey, you can't be good food. You can't be good food.
No, so I've been enjoying it. I got my free coffee for Dutch Brothers because, I
always forget they do that.
I love it, though. I love it. Because if you don't get it on your birthday, you have at least a month to redeem it. So
I'm not a big coffee drinker to begin with. But, yeah, overall. You can't beat a free coffee.
No, I got my free ice cream on my way home. Of course, they didn't offer a dairy-free option, so I was like, so I got this free ice cream for my birthday, but I'm dairy-free. There's no dairy-free option. They're like, go find something and we'll substitute it. I'm like, sweet.
There you go. See there? Okay, then. Before I forget, everyone, recently there's a lot of films that came out a lot. So there's a lot on Reaction Cast. So go check those out to support that. The Creed review should be out for Creed 3. The Demon Slayer films, it was recently out, and those were some spicy ones because I had my sister Rocio and her fiance Eddie on that one, and they had some choice words for that film.
Ooh.
So go check that out. And then the review for the season 2 of Demon Slayer, the season before the movie. But yeah, go check those out. A lot of things came out just this past weekend, so like pumping out content. So go check out Reaction Cast if you want to hear our thoughts on Demon Slayer or the Creed 3 film. A little snippet here. I would say Creed 3 is my least favorite of the Creed franchise. Still a good film, but my least favorite out of all 3 films. I'll say that. But okay. We're gonna jump into the stories. Before that, don't forget, if you want to support us, you can always purchase our merch at merch.tyrantdominus.com. We have a whole line of stuff that's going to be coming out soon, so keep an eye on that. We'll be announcing it here as well, like our let's call it our faux inspirational line. So, and then remember, we're only going to have 3 different shirts this year, and each shirt will release separately for only 5 weeks. So get it while you can if you really enjoy the stupidity we're putting out there. But you can also just get regular content shirts, like the Convoluted Podcast shirt, to help support us. And if that's not to your liking, you can always support us by just sharing the podcast on social media. Word of mouth is the best way to do it. It helps us out tremendously. You would not be surprised how much just telling someone about us helps us a lot. So, anything else, Liz?
Oh, let's just get into it, man.
All right, then. Liz, you have the first story for us.
Yes, late Arizona teacher had an M&M style casket for her funeral.
Ooh. What would you do? You have your funeral settings all set? Like, how are you gonna go?
I am gonna donate my body to science.
To science, huh?
Yeah, and then because then they automatically cremate you, so that's a savings in itself.
Wait,
so.
Really? Wait, they just don't use your organs and stuff?
They don't use. Oh, I'm an organ donor, so if they can do that, great. And if not, then it's donated to science to do research on my body for whatever reason, and then once they use your body for I think 6 to 9 months, they cremate you and send it back to the family.
So they use you, then burn you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. I mean,
they get something out of you. They get something out of you.
Yeah, they get something out of me at the end of my life, so that's fine. That's all good. I enjoyed it, though. I think that's a great idea because you know how funeral costs are so expensive. So
fuck yeah.
So in a way, I'm saving money by getting cremated before, and then cremations are still expensive.
Oh yeah.
So I really have to pay for a cheap urn or whatever. What my family wants to do with the hell with me. If they want to throw me out to the wind, great. I don't care. You do you, boo. I don't care.
Oh, interesting. That's how you guys do it. We do it differently. We have a single plot that we just it's a family plot. And we
don't have one of those. My mom has one next to my dad, and that's about it. There's nobody else.
So yeah, no, it's just family. a single weird. It's the way we do it is it's a single plot with a very decorative kind of gravestone. But it's just for the family, and all we do is because most of the time it's all cremated, at least in our family, or at least partially my side of the family, and you just pour the ash. Half the ash, depending on how much the family member is gonna keep, a portion of the ashes gets poured on the gravestone, and you just light incense and stuff like that. So it's just a simple thing, and it saves some fucking money. You have one gravestone for the family. This is this family gravestone. So everyone, you share this thing like a real Mexican family. You share.
Well, my mom had family. Her parents had bought like 4 plots of, so they were all together. I think there was a little bit more, but yeah, there was a couple family plots around in Chicago that actual bodies were in. So like, I think there's one that don't have one because they're somewhere else, and I have no idea where
And
they're
they're
at.
just like free land right there, free land.
I know it's a free plot that we should be selling off.
All right,
so the most random body ever.
All right, so but what did this Arizona teacher do?
You know, it's not a topic people talk about too often, and typically it's seen rather somber and solemn affair.
Unless you're talking about
it,
unless we're talking about it.
However, one teacher late in Arizona wanted to make sure that her funeral would not be the one people can remember her devotion, just not to education and her family. Mary Stocks Martin passed away early in February. Her family said she was fun-loving and was happy until the very end. Her initials, MSM, get her the nickname M&M from her students. She was a teacher for 30 years. She used to initial every MSM, but that S in a cursive, of course, looks like M&M. And Mary's grandson, Billy Martin, the students started bringing her M&M's memorabilia and turned into something that she reflected as a part of her success as a teacher.
Wow.
Over the years.
Bruh. That's pretty nice for
It's cool. Over the years, Mary's M&M memorabilia piled up, and it wasn't until her death that her grandchildren realized how big it had gotten. The biggest surprise for Mary's loved ones was an M&M casket that she made years ago with the help of her son.
Wait,
I didn't even know she had it.
So they made one. Wait,
it probably saved you a lot of money. I don't think M&M has that.
No, it would
value
go.
in the network.
It would go against their license because I think we talked about the. Was it? Was it Disney that was trying to deny a Mickey Mouse gravestone? Oh my god. We talked about it a little bit ago, but there was
I know we talked something about it, but I don't remember.
But yeah, there's like you got to be careful with these themed like grave sites. Like I get it, you know, her initials spelled out M&M. She kind of became the M&M teacher, but then like I forget what the company M&M is owned by, but they said like no, you cannot do that and get a lawsuit on top of the funeral. So yeah. Bruh. Oh wait, continue.
The castle was a giant M&M holding a small group of smaller bite-sized pieces that bear the names of Mary's children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, including 10-year-old Brooklyn, who helped scatter M&Ms on her great-grandmother's casket.
Okay, the ants will be happy.
M&M drop. I saw that at feet, and I thought it was pretty cool that it had like the names of everyone in the family said Brooklyn. The castle, according to Mary's family, was made to look like the blue peanut M&M, which was one of Mary's favorite. The family uploaded a video of her M&M style funeral to TikTok, and the video had over 8 million views in a matter of days.
She told us before she passed, I want pictures of the coffins to go out. I want people to see it. Mary's last wish was certainly granted, and her family said her only regret was that she wouldn't be alive to see everyone's reactions. True. I know she's probably tickled pink and smiling ear to ear out there. A very special treat that we got because the way the coffin was presented and literally shared worldwide. That's interesting because a lot of people keep these matters of passing pretty because
it's morbid. It's not something you talk about, right?
True. It's more within the family or the group and stuff like that. Personal. It's more personal. But you know, when that's I was about to ask you what your thoughts on, because what was good is that the teacher was able to like, hey, share this with the world, and instead of like someone like, oh, this is interesting and kind of just did it. I was gonna ask you what are your thoughts on that, but it sounds like there was permission. This is like am I the asshole kind of story in a sense? But
I think you're trying to be the asshole here, man. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. I mean, if you want to share something that's so special to you and so dear to your heart, I think that's great. I mean,
well, they had permission.
The fact that they were able to bury, this woman in something she loved, they made it. So, I mean, think about the fortune they just saved in that.
Oh god, yeah. Oh wait, actually, how much? Okay, let's look up. Well, keep talking. I'll look up coffin prices.
Oh, don't even look. You're gonna give yourself a heart attack.
We'll let the audience know as well.
Talk about gravestones too. That's one I do remember, and they were
what is it?
expensive,
What
too.
is it then? While I look up coffin.
Gravestones were pretty high up there, at least 20 grand for the most expensive one, if I remember right.
For a piece of rock.
This is my father from 2003. So, and we got the
inflation.
blue one.
Inflation, man.
Yeah. I'm including inflation. I have no idea where it's at right now, but I mean, my dad had the bluest stone because his eyes were blue, and yeah, so that's always remembered. And we chose the most expensive because all of us. It was just not just one of us. It was all of us who decided. All of us kids were like, we want that stone. So
okay, so what I'm looking at on the low end, if you want a fiber board or cardboard box, it's still gonna run you close to $350.
$350,000 or
no, $350. But remember, I'm saying fiberboard and cardboard. Now, if you're looking at the wooden side, you're looking close to $2,000 to $3,000. Metal caskets, which I don't know why it's metal. That sounds kind of fucking stupid. But metal.
You don't want to come back from the living dead.
True. Metal, you're looking at $3,000 to $12,000, depending on the size.
I know. It's expensive out there.
At this point, I'm like, just bury me in a box. Just bury me in a box.
If I didn't think about wanting to donate my body to science, I would want to be just in a sheath cloth and buried down that way naturally, so I can return to the earth. That was my other option too. So,
wouldn't also cremation work that way because you're just scattering your ashes? Same thing.
I know, but it's like because if you put yourself in like linen cloth, and you don't put chemicals in your body, like with all this stuff.
You'll be composted, basically. You'll be composted.
Yeah, but I'd be putting back in nutrients to the earth, right?
True.
So I thought about that too as the option, but you have to find a place that would allow that kind of burial, considering they don't usually allow that kind of.
No, not these days.
You would have to do it on.
You gotta do it like.
But there was actually, speaking of which, I'm sorry, I'm going to sidetrack this. There is a rule or effect to going into law that like people are trying to bury in Washington State. If you wanted to have burial plot on the land, you can do that, but you have to get like approval. So, because graveyards are being overrun and there's not enough room or spaces for them. So, so they're like, oh well, if you do, you have to of course tell the people. That was actually something that came up on a phone. On a radio station. I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, huh. Except I don't have the plot land to do this here in Oregon.
I know, right? Land alone. Land is quote cheap, but still it's like for it to do that. All right.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty funny that if you wanted to bury your own family on your plot of land, I was thinking about my friend Dan who lives up in Woodland. And of course, he's got a nice piece of property up there. They could bury people on there.
Earn some money right there. I don't mind having a graveyard in my backyard. Got some money.
You got to plot too, man. I mean, you could probably put it in that corner, decorated to the family.
True. But the selling market would not be great though. Like, yes, I have a small gravesite in my backyard.
It'd be like the South, You got this piece of property, but the family was buried on the property.
All right, then let's jump into the next story because now we have definitive proof that elves exist. We actually have elves in the world. So, and the reason I say that is because we have a definite leader of the world proclaiming it. So it has to be true, So, the Mexican president posted photos of what he claims is a Mayan elf. Andres Manuel Lopez. Oh my god, his name is fucking long. Why does people just have something in it? So, no, I just
AMLO. AMLO. I call him AMLO.
Abrado. Anyway, said that the photo appeared to show a Lux, a creature from Yucatan folklore. Okay. Mexico's president posted photos on his social media, so his social media, on Saturday, showing what he appeared to be mythological woodland spirit similar to an elf. Damn it, it's not a elf. Damn it. Why did you fail me, Mexican president? It's just a similar, but this means they're spirits. Ooh. The Mexican president did not seem to be joking when he posted the photo of the, is it Alux?
Alux? I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Alux. Actually, let's see. How do you pronounce this shit? Google this really quick. Pronounce. Oh, pronunciation. How to pronounce. There it is.
Alux.
Alux. Really?
Alux, okay.
Alux. Okay, that's what it says. Alux. Let's see here. So if you see in the photo, okay, we're looking at the photo, and if you're watching the video, I'll probably post a picture of it on there. It's a very when doing these like supernatural stuff, he has a in the dark photo pointing into the trees and
with glowing eyes.
And kind of like his reference. And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Let's see here. The nighttime photo shows a tree with branch forming what looks to be the halo of a hare, what may be to star form of figure's eyes. Lopez has long expressed reverence for the indigenous culture and beliefs. Work is underway in the Yucatan Peninsula to construct a tourist train that is the president's pet project. According to tradition, Mayan belief, luxes are small, mischievous creatures that inhabit forests and fields and are prone to playing tricks on people, such as hiding things. Some people leave small offerings to appease them. The ancient Mayan civilization has reached its height. Oh my god, just lore. I hate when they just add like random like stuff. Like it's nice to know some facts because I wouldn't. You forget when like many still speak Mayan language and wear traditional clothing while conserving traditional foods, crops, religion, medicines, practices, despite the conquest of the region in Spanish between 1527 and 1546. It's like interesting to know random facts like that. Like when did the Spanish conquer Central America? 1527 and 1546. And let's see. I hope you appreciate this. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay, just random stuff. Okay. At least they got it. At least these random facts are at the end, so I don't. Not too bad. Actually, a lot of I have a few older family members because it's sadly being lost with generation through generation that speak the old language.
Yeah. The father of my child mother did too, and then there was like one other person who spoke the language in the town. So,
but it's like it fades away because it's not spoken as much. You just kind of lose them. I think at one point I wanted to have an interview with my grandmother. Early podcast to just kind of get some stories and have her speak in her tongue, and then kind of translate along the way, you know. But it's it would have been an interesting episode. But anyways, that's besides the point. It's just interesting to see one of the leaders of the world proclaiming this quote as fact. Did you see what was this when it first popped off?
No, I didn't see this at all. I think when you posted, I was like, "Really, Jesus? Really?
What you're doubting
the president believes this?
You are doubting one of the leaders of the world, Liz? One of the people who are in charge of an entire country? You doubt them?
His pet project is not helping his people, but okay."
Well, luckily, we don't talk about politics and stuff like that, unless you're listening to the bonus episodes. True. It might be a sign. You never know. Like I like to believe there's some interesting lore in the world that exists Because
I believe so. I think like just what we believe in the Northwest is that Bigfoot exists, that kind of thing. I mean,
it'll be boring, boring.
Yeah, I think we
Not
need
a
to have
single
some
fuck was given this day.
elusiveness in this world. I mean, not everything has to be discovered or found. And I mean, yes, it's great when we do, but it's like at the same time, like we're, maybe there should be a little mystery left in this world. I mean, if we keep discovering everything, we're gonna find nothing else to discover. So, and we lose our, empathy for life. I mean, I think we all have to have a little bit of mystery in our life, a little more of, ooh, maybe that's real. Maybe that's true. Maybe we can find something and discover it. That's, the whole thing. I mean, I think if we have that little section in the world that we just don't have all the answers to it, that'd be great,
Exactly. And I think as for that statement, we as a podcast believe in the Alux. It is real. Just because we want something in our world to be. And for anyone who's not watching the podcast, everyone agrees on the podcast because this is also an audio podcast. Liz forgets that sometimes just because we recorded. There's a video portion on YouTube.
But I'm going to say no, but I know you can overrule me. It's all good.
Yes.
Because I am just an object. I'm a second-class citizen.
Are you out of your mind?
So, yeah, it's interesting. I know I got a lot of interesting comments. Let me see here. I'm opening the Twitter account. It's a raccoon with a bag on its head. Let's see.
That's funny.
Let's see what else there is. There's some cool images, like statues they were quoting. Most of it's in Spanish, which I wish I'd read Spanish a little bit more.
I can understand and read it a little bit.
I'm just bad at pronunciation.
You're the one who's a Hispanic child.
Oh, well, I can't read it. Like, I can't read and pronounce. I can talk it. I can, like, verbally speak it. And I can very ethically, like, understand it. But anyways, yeah. As the podcast, the Alux are going to be our mascot from now on. Once we get a proper image. Because we believe in it. Thank you, Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. We believe in you. We support some things. You
a lot of these people are talking trash about the president. Damn.
Yeah, he has some hot takes. I'm not gonna lie, he has some hot takes. Like I said, we're not. I don't pay a lot of attention to a lot of politics, and so yeah. But this one take, we believe in him. We believe in you. Okay, get to the next article, Liz.
What's the next one again?
The Cosmopolitan one.
Oh, yes. I love this one. At least all the women will love this one.
It is Women's Month.
Yes, it is National Women's Month. Hey. Science has found that the average penis is getting bigger. A urologist explains why.
And people still complain. And guys still complain. Or actually, guys, men and women both still complain.
And look at that shit.
According to recent published research, men's average penis has increased considerably over the last 29 years, which might sound great news, but does it actually mean? What does it actually mean? In a new video on her YouTube channel, a urologist and sex educator, Dr. Rina Malik, breaks down the new findings. This is actually pretty surprising because over the years, we've seen a decline in average testosterone levels, more testicular tumors, and more genital
should we watch the video then?
Babies.
Watch it? Should we watch it? It's her video.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's hear it from her mouth.
All right, did you want to put it on?
Yeah, give me one.
Do we want to share the screen with me so I can see it, or do you want me to put it on my end?
Oh, I'll put it on the second, everyone. Okay, everyone, we're back. So we're going to be listening to... Can you see it, Liz?
Okay.
Okay. Everyone, we're back. We're going to be listening... What was the doctor's name?
Basically, they've looked at the numbers and they found that the penis length...
Oh, no, what's the name of the doctor, the urologist?
Oh, the doctor's name? Yeah, Dr. Rina Malik.
Okay,
Break down
then...
the huge discovery.
Let's find out what she has to say from her own mouth.
Huge.
Luckily, it's a very short video.
Did you know that penile lengths on average have grown over the last 29 years? That means that men's actually increased over the last 29 years. I'm Dr.
They have some fun visuals.
Yeah, the banana.
Okay. Oh, there's her name. Urologist and pelvic surgeon. Okay.
Rita Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and I'm going to explain a brand new study that looked into this and explain exactly what that means for us. So this is actually pretty surprising because over the years, we've seen a decline in average testosterone levels, more testicular tumors, and more genital defects in newborn babies. In fact, we've also seen sperm counts have gone down worldwide. If you want to learn more about that, check out my video where I talked about it. But
I think we've spoken about something similar to that, haven't we? Just a decline of overall, just a decline and stuff like this and that matter. Let's continue.
One would expect that with all these changes, there may be actually changes in the visual appearance of the genitalia as well. In a study, a group of researchers did what we call a systematic review. And so they looked for studies where penile length, girth, circumference was measured by a researcher, not by the participant themselves. And they were adults and they had at least 10 or more people in the study. If you had reported your own measurements or you had recent surgery, you were excluded from being part of this study. And they found 75 articles. Of those, 19 studies were in North America, 19 studies were in Europe, 5 in South America, and the rest in different places around the world. And this covered over 55,000 men. And they looked at penile lengths, flaccid, stretched, and erect. The reason people often use stretched penile length is because we believe it's a surrogate of the erect penile length of a person, because it's kind of awkward sometimes to recruit patients for a study and then induce an erection medically. However, in the studies where
interesting, they're going the full spectrum, and that's well respected. I would give that from the male's perspective. Acting.
Did you close it?
Let's
you
see.
look like you are frozen in time.
Am
I frozen in time to you?
No, but the video.
You're frozen in video. You're stuck like this.
I know, but it's still picking up the audio. Sorry, everyone.
Yep, you're waving.
Okay, there we go. We're back. For some reason, it paused on them. But yeah, at least they're going for the full spectrum. They're giving every opportunity, and it looks like for the most part they are giving due diligence, because this is a spicy topic in the world, to say the least. But it's something that's overall interesting, because it is true overall through time things change because of how medicine, how food is developed and stuff like that. And because I think
genetics too, you have to think about genetics.
Because I think if I remember right, like people like almost 1,000 years ago were like shorter than they are now, things like that. Just things like that. So let's continue to see what else.
Where they had erect measurements, they either had men have a spontaneous erection or they gave them an intracavernosal injection, which is an actually medically induced erection through an injection into the erectile tissue of the penis. And now I know this sounds super scary, but in fact, it's really a small needle and most people tolerate
it's a medical
quite
thing,
well.
right?
Around 40,000 men had flaccid
right?
length and stretched length, and about 18,000 men had erect length. So 64 studies looked at stretch penile length, and they found that measurements range from 3.5 to 6.9 inches, or for those of you who use centimeters, 9.8 to 17.5 centimeters. And the average length was 5.1 inches or 12.9 centimeters.
Yes, everyone wondering, that is the average length of what was the countries? America, Europe, South America,
Africa, and other.
So that's another thing. They got a global scale. So as a global scale, your average is about, what was it? 5.1. So there you guys go. For any of our male listeners, or who have male genitalia, there you go.
Stretched.
Or that's stretched. No, I thought that was erect. Wasn't it erect?
And this did vary across nations,
why
with the longest happening to be in
South America. Okay.
Stretched. Thank you for correcting me.
Stretched.
So there you guys go. So then,
in centimeters. And this did vary
I need a
across
rubber band.
nations, with the longest happening to be in South America and the shortest in Asia. And of the 20 studies that looked at erect length, the numbers were similar, but not exactly the same. The ranges were from 3.7 to 6.6 inches, or 9.5 to 16.7 centimeters, with an average length of 5.5 inches.
there you guys go. So there's a 0.4 inch difference in erect penile length. But it sounds like
stretched.
compared to stretch, yeah. And it seems like there's very varied numbered compared to what they were doing in stretch to erect, from what I'm hearing. So I like that there's a lot of science to this instead of like measure dick. There's like, because a lot of times that's the joke, right? That's the joke, but they're going for it.
Or 13.9 centimeters. And interestingly, what they found is when they looked at these numbers over the course of decades, they found that over time, stretch penile length didn't change. However, when they looked at the erect length over decades, they found that it increased by 24%, from 4.8 inches to 6 inches. Now, you guys might be thinking, this is great news, right? But maybe it's not. First of all, let's take a little deeper dive into the data.
That's interesting. When I don't know, no one like knows the science of their bodies for like 100%, right? Because for the most part, that's all like, oh, cool, yes, everyone, all males get bigger dicks, but it doesn't sound healthy. That doesn't sound healthy when the stretch portion is not like, it's not what is it? Like increasing accordingly with the rest, right? Like something's not right. It's like if like your arms were growing longer but you weren't growing taller, like something just seems off, right? Or vice versa, if you're growing,
so growth hormone, something like the displaced growth
and it just it'll affect someone differently, because it can lead to something worse in the long run, because sometimes that's not natural. So let's find out what they have to say.
They looked at things like geographic region, age, the type of volunteers that were involved in the studies. Were they volunteers, or were they people who had urologic needs and went to a urologist? And how did they get the erection? Was it through intracavernosal injection or through spontaneous erections? They found that these factors didn't really change the fact that the sizes increased over time. However, looking at these graphs, I saw something interesting. When you look at subject population, you see most of the increase is due to those who volunteered rather than those who were from a urology clinic. Similarly, if you look at the technique to achieve erection, those who had intracavernosal injections were more likely to see this increase in size. But ultimately, the researchers controlled for these factors and it didn't change the findings. So why did stretch penile length not increase but erect penile length did?
This is where I was telling you, or I just speculated like why, because this is where it can get like, okay, what's the problem with men these days, or at least with their dicks?
Well, there's a lot of problems.
That's true. Let's go. Let's summarize just with their dicks. Let's find out.
Well, the theory is that stretched penile length may not be an adequate indicator in some people. So particularly in older men, you'll see that stretched penile length is longer than their erect length because they tend to get more elasticity in their tissues as they age. Additionally, the force created by the body to create an erection is actually larger than the force you can obtain from a human being actually stretching the penis. So what does this mean for you watching? Great, people have longer penises. That sounds like a good thing, but is it? Interestingly, researchers theorize that the changes in penile length may be due to a number of different factors. One is that boys are going through puberty earlier than they used to. This may be due to chemicals, pesticides, and other things in our environment that may be disrupting our hormone system or our endocrine system. And
yeah, because I think we even talked about it, how like even American women are going through through puberty earlier as well. I think it's at least the Americans, just because of how much growth hormones are in the food. I think it's changed over the years a little bit, but I think it we spoken about this out in not length, but here and there, and it like we said, it affects individuals, and it'll affect you guys in the long run. So yeah, we kind of guessed it. We kind of guessed it. I wonder if they're gonna explain any potentials, like harm in the future or something? What are you guessing so far? Just hearing these.
Well, honestly, like she was saying in the beginning, how there was we've been seeing a lot of defects and
Oh, you're right. You're right.
growth tumors and stuff like that. So I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of maybe penile cancers, maybe.
Oh shit! Don't scare me that way. Dick cancer. Like, everyone ready
well,
for?
I've seen a greater number of ball cancer than the dick cancer, but
Yes, it's we might find the development for dick cancer. All right, let's see. Let's
Gotta
hear.
get your dick on.
Okay, let's finish this up.
And this can then lead to puberty happening earlier ages and subsequently causing longer penile length. It's really unusual to see such a dramatic change over a short period of time. We do know that certain things in our environment can affect our reproductive system. So could this be a negative? Certainly. Ultimately, we need to be thoughtful about what we're putting in the environment, what we're putting on our bodies, what we're eating, and what we're exposed to, because it may be having a negative impact on our bodies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah, overall, it's exactly what we're saying. You just gotta you gotta be very diligent about what you're eating, what you're inputting into your body, because it affects not just men. Overall, just every individual.
Yeah,
because
definitely from childhood to adulthood. I mean, it's affecting everybody. So
yeah, this is where it's interesting. And she didn't really explain like some of the negatives, but she kind of did in the beginning. But that's also like a lot of other factors too. So we won't take those as like 100% face value. But it's interesting overall. So guys, be happier you have like bigger dicks. And it sounds like the next
but it accrued over 29 years. So we're showing that beforehand.
Oh wait, let's do some math. So
you're 30.
30.
So what about a year into the study?
The next generation, what was the what was the increase? Whatever. Anyways, this is where we get a future where just children are born in tubes. Everyone's just a tube baby, just because there's no more ability to properly inseminate, like in the future movies.
I wonder if the length of the penis will actually. I don't know. That makes me question it. So will the length of the penis not allow more ejaculation? So not allowing enough sperm to populate to create?
Because remember, she just spoke about how the decline of sperm count as well before, and like we said, we talked about it. So there's like a lot of factors, and you just never know. Because we can get into that weird dystopian future where, like you barely can be able. Because right now it's not where like in certain areas in the world there is like overpopulation for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might get into that weird point where we might get to like very low population due to medical reasons and stuff like that. Hopefully we won't get to that point. But I'm glad that she did the research.
Hopefully we don't see that in a lifetime. How's that?
I'm glad that someone was able to do the research for all the heavy lifting for us to just talk about it. So everyone, there you guys go. All the guys out there. Hope you're happy. So Liz, what do you want to do next? Do you want to? So we're gonna continue with some few videos. You want to do how Shell's evil or barricading children?
I think let's go the worst, like the super worst. I don't know. Let's do barricading and then go to the Shell station. I don't know.
All right, let's do that then. All right, everyone, we're gonna be watching two videos from Philip DeFranco. They're pretty short as well, so.
Have you ever heard of the phrase?
Okay, can you say that? Okay.
Is parental alienation. Right? It's a psychological theory where a child cuts off their relationship with one parent because the other parent manipulated them into doing so. But
have you heard of that?
Kind of.
So, parental alienation occurs when a child refuses to have a relationship with a parent due to manipulation, such as conveying exaggerated or false information by other parents. Like, I think I've seen it in films and stuff like that.
I've seen it, but I've never had a word for it, I guess. I've heard about it, but like not having a word to it.
The concept. So, yeah, so parental alienation. That's what it's called.
Theory where a child cuts off their relationship with one parent because the other parent manipulated them into doing so. But also, it is a largely disputed theory, and most in the psychological field do not actually see it as a diagnosable condition. But that has not stopped courts from using it against Bryn Lee and Ty Larson, siblings who are 12 and 15 years old, respectively. Siblings who are also currently barricading themselves in their bedroom in their mother's home in Utah. And this reportedly to avoid court orders to be in their father's custody. So for some background on this just insane and devastating case, according to ProPublica, the Utah's Division of Child and Family Services, they found that in 2018, both siblings had faced severe and chronic abuse at the hands of their father, Brent Joel Larson. The details of which we are not going to get into, but understand they are graphic and disturbing. On top of that, the Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office recently said there's also an ongoing criminal investigation into the father over new allegations. But their father has denied these accusations via his attorney repeatedly, instead claiming that Ty and Bryn Lee's mother, Jessica Zart, has ruined their relationship with him via parental alienation.
Okay, so just with the story alone, what are your thoughts so far?
I think I've seen it, and I can believe it. You know, the manipulation by a parent to create this dystopian in the family. I mean, how, you know, I don't know. That's
Well,
just, I can believe it. I can see it. You know, the father refutes it. I mean, unless there's evidence that, you know, backs up the allegations, yeah.
all right, let's continue. So the mom basically manipulating her kids so they don't end up with their father. That's kind of the general story. Let's continue.
Right, so he's saying their mother has manipulated the children into making these claims, something the siblings say is 100% fake, but the court still recognized parental alienation as the reason behind the abuse claim, so they ordered Ty and Bryn Lee to attend reunification therapy out of state, with the judge there even saying the only way to recover the children from this psychological battlefield is to remove the children from Jessica's care and place them in the custody of Brent. And according to ProPublica, the reunification therapy center is called Turning Points for Families, with the outlet explaining that it involves taking the children to an undisclosed location for a 4-day sequestration period, and saying during the treatment, the children meet with what they refer to as the unjustifiably rejected parent, and afterward, they will remain in the alienated parent's custody for 90 days and are prohibited from having contact with the other parent or related family member.
Okay,
Wow.
that sounds pretty extreme.
It does.
Now,
That's just, I feel like that's a flip-flop of the alienation. I mean, that's the same thing. They're just alienating the other parent, and then when you flip-flop in the other situation.
true, but if you're removing the the parent that's manipulating the parent, that can avoid.
True, but I mean, I don't know what the other person's personality is. What if they're just as much a manipulator when you flip-flop them? I mean, you know, it's like, you know, opposites attract, but then all at the same time, you know, a lot of people who are similar attract each other too. So, like, if people are both manipulators, you know, what happens in that situation?
From let's talk about just the way they run this. What are you thinking of this weird 90-day process where they're basically?
Crazy.
Do you think it's too much, or?
I think it's a little bit too much. That's 90 days, 3 months, not being able to talk to your other parent.
And it's an undisclosed location for 4 days. I like. All right, let's continue.
Members. So here, it is worth noting that even though the judge placed the kids into their father's custody, he would not have unsupervised parenting time with them or have them overnight. Instead, they'd be sent to a different family member's house for that. But with all this, you also have their mother denying that she manipulated the children and telling ProPublica she had to look up what parental alienation even was just so she could wrap her head around what she was being accused of. And adding, I've watched them create this story about me and it doesn't matter what the truth really is. And this is the kids maintain they haven't been manipulated and that their claims are real. But what we've seen is the judge even going as far as to authorize police to use reasonable force to get them out of their barricaded room.
Whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
Getting the cops involved.
Wow.
Now
that's a little extreme.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, again, this idea of how we, you know, view cops. This is how we want to look at them as kids. Like, hey, we're barricading in your room. You have to go see your other parent. Like.
Okay, let's continue then.
The kids also apparently so afraid of being taken and placed in their father's custody that they stopped attending school. And Bryn Lee telling ProPublica that the court is controlling her life, that she could be with her friends right now. And Ty has also been documenting much of this on TikTok, saying in one January video,
the court system isn't trying to save us. Nobody's trying to keep us safe. I am the one that's going to have to choose my own safety, and this is only to stall the police. Nothing's going to stop them. This is just a stall. We are horrified to go to school. We are horrified to leave the house. We are horrified to even leave this room. I am scared if I get sent, I will be killed by my father.
With that tying back to
Okay. So with
Wow.
that statement, how are you feeling about this situation?
Wow. Oh, wow. I can't believe this is really I can't fathom this. This is like my brain's like really this is extreme. I don't know the whole story, but damn.
Well,
Damn.
we got a general one-sided story. Well, we have the moms, we got the kids side of the story. We don't have really the dads, but the dad's side is kind of like the moms manipulating them. So should the kids be taken to the dad's
No,
custody?
I feel like if that's what they're really truly fair. I mean, I feel like if we're only gonna create these kids with more problems in life with like PTSD, anxiety, overly stressing their systems to the max. I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea. Do we want to affect them long term? Can we just, resolve this civilly and just let the, kids come to that decision in their later lives? I mean, that's how I look at what I'm doing with my daughter now. It's like she knows where her father is. She knows what's happening with the situation. Doesn't know why he's there, but I mean, I'm not manipulating the situation. It's a system already manipulated for me. I didn't have to do anything. I'm protecting her to an extent. She can if she found the resources, she could figure out how and what. But it's freedom of speech, the freedom of online research. But I the kids need to come to that decision as adults. I think if I don't think we should be forcing them to do this. I think we're psychologically affecting them in so many harmful ways.
So the court's not doing the right thing, basically.
I don't think so. I don't feel like it is.
Okay, let's continue.
statements he previously made, claiming that his father threatened to kill his mother and sister if he said anything about the abuse. So on the other side of this, you have the father's lawyer claiming that Ty's TikToks are part of a social media campaign as part of their mother's parental alienation efforts. So also there, you had Dr. David Corwin, a professor and director of pediatric forensic services at the University of Utah, telling ProPublica that the alienation theory is not based on adequate research, but still saying it is often used to sell an alternative explanation for abuse claims in court, and adding, claiming that a child has been programmed or coached by the other parent creates enough uncertainty for a court to believe the easier narrative, that a parent would lie rather than a parent would abuse a child. But ultimately, that's where we are on this developing situation. We're going to keep our eyes on it. But in the meantime, I'd really love to know your thoughts on this absolute mess of a situation. With that said, sup, you beautiful.
Okay. So yeah. So let's we'll go. Not bad.
Have you ever?
So yeah. Overall, like, what are your thoughts on this overall story? Should the court be really involved so deeply in this? Should they be removing the kids from the mother who is, quote, manipulating them, and be with the father, even though the kids might not be telling the truth? And like,
I don't
be
know the situation. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to make a decision, but I don't know. Obviously, the experience in abuse. I would think that's why the reason they're really scared about doing this and barricading themselves in their room.
Yeah, when you're
They are
literally
scared.
barricading your door from the cops, it's like,
Are you out of your mind?
oh, so
I know. I agree with you 100%. Like it's crazy how to. It's just, I don't. Part of me thinks that the kids are telling the truth. I mean, the kids are ultimately telling the truth. Kids don't really lie, um, unless they're forced to have to lie. But I really feel like these
in
kids
this
are
situation,
legitly
they might
feeling the
be
concern.
being coached to lie by the one parent.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know. The
it's
parent
not
was in the room when
impossible.
these.
It's not
It's
impossible.
not impossible, but at the same time, I don't know. It's really difficult to make a decision. I don't know what's the truth and what isn't the truth. There's a old document saying that
So
they
what would you want to see
have.
at the end? That's what you.
I would love this to be peacefully resolved and not like kids having to barricade themselves in the room. I just think I'm so crazy. This is crazy. Like, how do you get around this? Like, that's scary. That's sad.
So what do you think is going to end up happening at the end? I think at the end they're going to end up with it. I think that's what's going to due to court order.
Yeah. I wonder if the kids are going to be okay, though.
Well, if he's telling the truth, nothing.
He's telling the truth. If their kids are telling the truth, then they put themselves in harm's way. Who's going to be sued and who's going to die?
That is true. Oh, then the courts can change the law. There you go. We only have to sacrifice more children, Liz. You just gotta sacrifice more children.
No.
We have to sacrifice the children for the future of the rest. That's how
No.
you know that's how the world works. That's how America works. You should know this by now.
No, it's sad. I know it's sad.
It's the truth.
I don't want to think that way. I don't want to think that way.
We have to, Liz. You have to be a realist. Stop living in your dream world. We live in a world where elves are. I mean, not elves.
Pisces,
spirits.
I will be in my dream world. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Let's continue living in the real world because Liz doesn't want to. But let's talk about this one. Yep. Audio. Not bad.
This is what happens when one company destroys a country and people demand justice. With the company, in this case, being the Anglo-Dutch oil giant Shell, and the country being one of Africa's largest oil producers, Nigeria. And at the center of it all is the Niger Delta, this vast area where the Niger River flows into the Gulf of Guinea and then the Atlantic Ocean. With Amnesty International calling it one of the most polluted places on Earth, and for good reason.
Damn, one of the most polluted area. I thought that was Los Angeles with all the smog.
I don't know right now. It's kind of snowy.
True, but black snow though.
Reportedly, hundreds of oil spills happen there every single year, most of which never get cleaned.
Wait, did he say hundreds?
And then the Atlantic Ocean. With Amnesty International calling it one of the most polluted places on Earth, and for good reason. Reportedly, hundreds of oil spills happen there every single year, most of which never get cleaned up. Countless Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of thick black...
Olympus-sized swimming pools.
Ew.
Every single year, most of which never get cleaned up. Countless Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of thick black petroleum oozing into farmlands, rivers, creeks, and lagoons. So of course, not much grows on the farms, and the little that does is often too toxic to eat. With most, if not all, the fish in the area having died, wiping out what used to be a staple food source for locals, as this woman explains.
The oil that is spilling is what is disturbing us. This basket you're seeing is the crayfish that I sell for a living. Now they're all dead. We cannot get anything. We are suffering. See this oil all over me.
And as you'd expect, the water is also heavily contaminated. Or just turn on the faucet in some places and it comes out brown and stinking with sulfur, which is why it's not surprising that children get sick just trying to bathe or stay hydrated. In fact, a 2017 study finding that infants born near an oil spill are twice as likely to die in their first month of life. And even
look at that. Look at that. Like I told you.
Wow.
The youth must die for the change of the world.
Sad. That's really sad.
Reality. But we got to make our money. We need oil for we need gas for our cars.
That's why we're forced to be in electric in like 10 years.
Okay, let's continue.
Study finding that infants born near an oil spill are twice as likely to die in their first month of life, and even suggesting there were 11,000 premature deaths per year in the Delta. And this also leading to crippling health conditions for the adult population.
When I saw the woman, she's having anasaka.
That means generalized body swelling. If you look at the woman, she could hardly breathe.
She couldn't walk.
She can walk because her heart is failing.
Congestive cardiac failure.
I still want to live. I have children to take care of. I have family to take care of.
So now they have to buy their drinking water from the city, which is expensive, and one community leader explaining, if you don't have money, you can't drink water. It's like we're living in the desert while we're living on the water.
Damn, I love that. I love that saying.
Wow.
It is brutal. Yeah. Because sometimes you think, actually, you don't, it is pretty fucked up, but literally I wash my cup with a full glass of water just to rinse it out and dump it.
Filter my water, so the unfiltered water cleans my stuff, but the filtered water I'm drinking.
So for everyone listening, every time you like dump that water at the end, like someone out there could be drinking it, like suffering. Like it's better than the water.
Our tap water is probably healthier than that shit right now.
True. You know, what was that city that was like had like brown water? Oh my god.
Detroit?
No. There was that one. The one that we're trying to. We talked about it. Oh my god, what was it?
Ohio.
Was it Ohio? What was the name of the city? Because they made fun of the water so much. Oh my god. Anyone in the comments can let us know. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. We just talked about it last week, I thought.
Oh my
No?
god. Like,
Let me look and see if I can.
yeah, look it up. Bad city drinking water. Because they made like Congress like, here, drink this water and stuff like that. Of that nature.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That city.
Crap. I thought we just talked about it too. Damn. Hold on, let me go look. Where the hell is it?
It's failing us.
I know I'm failing.
Damn it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh my god.
Palestine.
Was it? What is it?
Palestine.
It doesn't
East
sound.
Palestine, Ohio.
No, not that oil, not the train derailment. The bad water.
I thought that wasn't because of all the stuff that was seeping in.
No. I'm not talking about that.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god, Liz, you're failing me.
I know I'm failing you, but I didn't know.
City.
Look it up. Apparently, I'm failing. I thought it was Detroit.
You're just dissing Detroit now. Oh my god, what is...
Detroit hadn't had drinking water in years, like since 2015 or something like that.
But I'm thinking of a different... Bug me. Brady, damn, Brady, Texas is having issues right now, apparently. Worst drinking water. It has to be. Okay, I'm looking at the list of the top 25 cities with the worst drinking water. Can I see if I can... Reno, Nevada. That is... Oh my god, that looks horrible.
I don't want to think about it.
Sonoma. Yeah, I'm just looking at Corona, California. Arlington, Texas. Bakersfield. Fresno. Man, California is not on this list so much. Irving. Oh my god, California's on this like so much. Texas as well. Grand area, Texas. Oh my god, this is literally a California, Texas list. Fourth, yeah, literally every city's here. Rockford, Illinois. Another Texas, Brownville. Another Texas city, El Paso. Another, oh my god, Texas! You do not want Texas water, apparently.
I should probably text a couple people that live in Texas. So, how's the drinking water?
Yeah, I think there was only 2 cities that weren't Texas or God. Oh, okay, whatever. I give up. But yeah, crazy. Let's continue with this oil spill.
Meanwhile, Shell made $40 billion in profits.
Yeah,
last year
they made
alone,
money.
Much of that from Nigeria.
There you
But also,
go.
here's the thing: the cost to clean up the damage that it's caused is just a fraction of that. With the UN estimating in 2011, the first 5 years would only require $1 billion. And calling
You
this
see, only $1 billion, but you know we gotta get that money.
Only $1 billion. Only $5. Jesus, that's crazy. That's nuts. Man, come on.
situation, an emergency that requires the largest terrestrial cleanup operation in history, one that would have taken 3 decades if started immediately. Yet today, the Delta's inhabitants say the cleanup still hasn't begun.
So if they even if they started, it would take 30 years plus.
Yeah.
And people are suffering. That is, until possibly now. But before we get into all that, we have to understand how we even got here. Because all this starts back in 1956 when Shell struck black gold in Nigeria, which notably at that time was a British colony. But just 4 years later, it declared independence, full of hope that the oil could enrich the nation. But as the country descended into civil war and military coups, that oil enriched its former colonizers at Shell headquarters instead. With the government becoming a corrupt business partner to this day, getting some 90% of its export earnings and more than a third of public revenue from oil, leading it to neglect other basic sectors sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and mining. But we've also seen resistance movements, like the non-violent rebellion led by activist Ken Saro-Wiwa, who temporarily forced Shell out of the Ogoniland region in 1993. But even then, the dictatorship brought down its fist, murdering, raping, torturing, even burning down entire villages. And then finally executing Saro-Wiwa, and years later, Amnesty International reviewed documents showing that Shell actually encouraged the military to deal with the protests despite knowing what would happen, even providing the military with material support like transportation and paying a commander infamous for human rights abuses. But for years,
Damn, this sounds like a movie. Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another
Holy
day.
shit.
Another day in reality, Liz.
Shit.
the company denied any involvement in his.
Yeah, we didn't do nothing. That all those documents were forged. You know, we're just here
Oh,
to provide.
no.
We're just providing oil to the world. Like, we didn't do any of that. No, we didn't provide any encouragement.
The new century dawned, the violence continued, with militant groups blowing up pipelines, attacking oil and gas facilities, kidnapping employees, and at its height, reducing Nigeria's oil production by up to 40%. But eventually, the government bought off the rebels, so the president got to look like a peacemaker, and oil production just kept.
That's how you do it. You buy off the rebels. Like, here, stop complaining. Like, just stop complaining. Here's some money.
40%. But eventually the government bought off the rebels, so the president got to look like a peacemaker, and oil production just kept chugging along. So instead, what we saw was the resistance moving to the courts, with 15,000 fishers and farmers suing Shell through the British legal system. And in 2015, they actually won, earning compensation of approximately $68 million, along with the world's largest cleanup of oil.
Only 68 million to the 1 billion
That's
they made.
like, I know, right?
That's
not even enough.
That's nothing.
Not enough.
And that's us
Nothing.
saying that. Like,
It's
68
like
million.
pennies. It's like pennies to them.
Because they made 40 billion last year. So
pennies, I'm telling you. 68 million is like pennies.
Oil impacted mangroves in history. And then in 2021, the UK High Court unanimously ruled that there was a good, arguable case that Shell is legally responsible for the pollution caused by its Nigerian subsidiary. And then just last month, over 11,000 residents of Ogali filed individual claims against Shell in the British High Court, with that bringing the total number to at least 13,650. And even all of that, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There are hundreds and hundreds of more affected communities that could seek legal recourse. Now, as far as its defense, Shell has argued that it's not responsible for the damage caused by the spill, saying that any legal claim must come within 5 years of a specific spill, and that only Nigerian authorities have jurisdiction over its subsidiary. Though with that, activists have countered that Nigerian courts are just too slow and corrupt, so they look to London instead. Also, Shell claims that the vast majority of oil spills are caused by third parties who steal the oil for their own profit on the black market. They're saying that they tap into the pipelines for oil and whisk it away to one of the refineries hidden deep in the Niger Delta, somewhere where it's processed and sold to traders who distribute it to customers across the wider country. And those refineries do a lot of damage, coughing up tons of black soot that rains down on local residents.
There you go.
But
look,
while
black,
that is
black
a
rain.
problem, many see the theft as a symptom of the poverty and corruption caused and perpetrated by foreign interests like Shell. So the lawsuits keep coming, and in 2021, Shell buckled under the pressure, announcing its plan to vacate the Niger Delta and sell its onshore oil fields. And this following similar plans by ExxonMobil and other oil producers to pull out, though both giants keeping their offshore investments. But also, here's the thing. Today, Shell is still stuck in the country because last June, Nigeria's Supreme Court forced it to pause its withdrawal. And this because they say Shell needs to await the outcome on an appeal over a court ruling that it must pay $2 billion for a 2019 oil spill. And so ultimately, that's where we are. We're waiting.
This also might be the reason, one of the few reasons that gas prices have been going up as well.
Probably.
So, second, everyone.
They seem to always still make money. Remember on us, they always seem to make money.
So yeah, it sounds like, in general, it's a shit show down in Africa. In Nigeria, I think that's where most of it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I get it. The greed is what hurts individuals, and it's like really hurting these people. It's pretty fucked. Truly pretty fucked. We can literally say we wish them the best, but man, they won't see any change anytime soon. I feel like I think it's literally gonna take an uprising to really secure
I think
something.
it's gonna have to take a world uprising to make that happen.
Yeah, so they're just gonna have to suffer for probably another couple of decades or centuries, probably, depending on how long the world's gonna last.
Looking at it. Yeah. You've seen the video. It's like, it's possibly going to be ending soon rather than later.
There you go. But yeah. So, what are your general thoughts on this situation that's been
I
happening for years?
knew, we all knew that gas stations, gas companies are just
They run a good.
frivolous. They are money hungry, money grabbing, dirty little companies who have destroyed human life, destroyed human, nature itself. I mean, nothing's gonna change. It hasn't changed. I mean, think about all this oil spills we've had over the years, and they it. We hear about them, we peak up, and then we don't hear about them. It's just that same cycle about shootings. It's the same. We talk about it. We want some action, and nothing happens, and then we go back to the same cycle again. Same thing with the oil change. I feel like it's the same thing. We get fired up about it when we have another oil spill, and then we are arguing for change or asking for change. A little something happens, and we're all happy, and then we go back to the same cycle again. Right? It's a vicious cycle. I mean, it's been going on for years. I remember this as a kid, all the oil spills, how many damage they've done to. And people are still dying. So.
True. At the end of the day, nothing's really gonna change.
Nope.
But we just gotta sit and wait and watch, and we'll report to you guys what more will happen. So,
yeah.
We're going to be closing up this episode. We got one last thing. So, everyone, remember, don't forget to share the podcast on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those fun things. Share the links from YouTube if you're listening to it, or on Spotify. There's that share button, or actually most podcasts, or even word of mouth. Just tell a friend, tell a family member if they want to hear some crazy stuff that we've just talked about, from M&Ms to oil spills to bigger dicks. So, okay, we're gonna be jumping in. Here you go, Liz.
I already saw the article name.
Mostly
Am I the asshole? Head.
Go first.
Am I the asshole for refusing to help my neighbor and her 2 children when their wipers were frozen? I'm a 59-year-old male living in a major city in Ontario, Canada. I live in a small subdivision and have 5 neighbors total on my street. For the past few years, during the winter, when we're getting a lot of snow or bad snowstorms, as I'm leaving for overnight shift around 8 to 9 p.m., I'll put my wife's windshield wipers up on her car and do a quick walk around to my other 5 neighbors and put their wipers up on their cars.
Well, that's very
Obviously
courteous.
not if they're outside or something, but if it looks like they're in for the night.
That's pretty courteous of this individual. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
It'll be
nice
weird. It'd be weird if you didn't know the neighbor. Like, what are you doing in my car?
You know, right?
But if it sounds like it's a very quaint community, so let's continue.
Many of them forget to do this, as many of them have children and typically slips in their mind, and the wife will be frozen to the car in the morning. It's something nice I like to do to look out for my neighbors. They're always grateful of this and thank me for it. Many of them started doing it too, and there will be nights when I'll forget to put my wife's up, and then one of the neighbors has done it for us. Anyway, recently one of
what a nice neighborhood. What a nice neighborhood.
Nice. I mean, that's a nice, content neighborhood. I mean, it's awesome. Anyway, recently one of our neighbors moved, and a new family moved in last week. It's a young couple and their 2 children. The other night, I was leaving for my overnight shift at around 9 p.m. It was snowing pretty heavily, and we were supposed to get almost 30 centimeters of snow, and it was freezing out. So I put my wife's wipers up and do my usual quick walk around the other neighbors. I was hesitant when I reached my new neighbor's house, as I've only introduced myself once, but do it anyway. As I'm putting up the second wiper up on the car, pick up the truck that came out, charging out the front door. Hey, what the fuck are you doing to my truck?
Exactly. This is exactly what I was saying.
Yep. I would try to explain to him I was putting his wipers up to help him. He continued to scream at me to get the hell off my property and don't touch my shit again. The wife then came out and started yelling at me too. I apologized and started walking away. Some of the other neighbors heard the commotion and came outside to see what was happening. They tried to explain to him that it's just something we do. Both of them wasn't having it. Fast forward into the morning. I arrived home from my overnight shift, and I was walking. I see the wife and couple struggling outside to break the ice off the windshield wipers of the truck. Guess who? She was trying to take her kids to school, and the wipers are frozen solid on the car. She sees me and yells over, "Hey there, do you mind give me a hand, please?" I'd look over to her and yell back, "No, sorry, I thought I was never to touch your shit again, ma'am," and walked back inside. She yelled at me, "Wow, asshole." Told my wife about this. She thinks I should have helped her because she was trying to get her kids to school. I disagree, as I was following what they told me.
Not
Am
a
I the
single
asshole?
fuck was given this day.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this?
I think he was trying to do a nice duty. He was trying to be the friendly new neighbor. Hey, you're new, or just this is what we do in the neighborhood. There's only 5 of us here. I just do it as a, a way of, being helpful to my neighbors, the good deed, the good deed for the day kind of thing, which I think is great. I think we, if we had more neighbors like that, that'd be awesome. But, of course, everybody's so possessive of this shit. And, here comes this asshole saying, "Don't touch my shit again." Well, guess what?
Well, that's
karma's a bitch.
Well, that's understandable. Like if a neighbor who I've only met once was touching my stuff, I won't deny that's pretty sketchy.
Be like, "What you doing?" I'd be like, I go out there and go, "What you doing?"
Yeah.
But honestly, I've had some I had some really great neighbors when I lived before this condo, and my boyfriend at the time had locked his keys in the car, and so he got a toolkit to get into his car. At the time it was like one of those manual locks. You can just yank it with the tool to pop it up. And the neighbors were coming out checking up on him. I'm like, "Oh no, he left his keys in the car." He fucking like I had to go back out there. I'm like, "Dude, no, he's good. He's not like jacking the car because I was trying to get to the car." I mean, oh, that's great neighbors, right? So, but at the same time, it makes me, that's you want to go like tell them, "Oh no," you want to cuss them out, like tell an angry voice at them. I would think you would want to
hear
do
them
a good
out.
deed for them, and they just blew their rocket ship, and I think they kind of almost put a damper into the relationship with the neighbors too.
Yeah, because for the most part, it sounds like the neighborhood in itself had a good communication. It sounds, and I think it was a mix of over exaggeration without proper understanding, and I won't deny I'm not one to hold a chip on my shoulder, but depending on the volume of the opposition, if they're truly being like a complete dick, like
It just sounded like they were being complete dicks. They didn't come out and say, "Hey, what you doing? And I'm not familiar with this. Like, what you doing?" kind of thing. They weren't even being pleasant. They were being complete a jerk straight off the bat. There was no, "Hey, what are you doing? Get off my property." It was, it was, and he was trying to explain. He was trying to say this, "Hey, this is my good deed I do for the neighbors. Other people have done it for me. We just look out for each other." But they didn't give him a chance to even explain. That's what the problem is.
No, I think they did. I'm trying to look. I'll redo this. Double check.
He's like, he was trying to say, "Get off my property." He was.
Yeah, I think he was trying to, and he was just like, overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed.
Yeah, he was, but they were being jerks. They were being straight off like, "What are you doing? Get off my property! Don't touch my truck!" They didn't even give him a chance to explain everything. I think he was trying to explain, but they wouldn't give him like 5 seconds.
Exactly. So yeah, here you goes, guys. Like, for anyone listening, like, it's depending on if you're in a good neighborhood or are you friendly with your neighbors. Sometimes you just never know, to say the least. Because mostly in smaller, I think it's easier in smaller neighborhoods when you are able to understand the neighbors. Like, at least for me and my neighbors, we're on just the nodding phase where you're just like, you greet them and that's it. That's all I have. We just nod at our neighbors and stuff like that. Like, acknowledge them. That's it. We don't converse.
A handful in our condo complex. That's about it.
So,
I mean, yeah.
But yeah. But not the asshole. A little bit, a little cheeky, but he had the right to be cheeky.
Yeah, I mean, you don't give them enough to explain. You're being an asshole straight off the bat, and your new neighbors. I would think you would come out and be more like, "Hey, what you doing? I'm not, I'm not familiar with this neighborhood. It's, oh, that's great. Like, give me an explain. I think they put a bad taste in their neighbors' mouths. Like, we don't want to deal with these people, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, these new neighbors came in and they're just being assholes right off the bat.
Yeah, the new neighbors in the neighborhood really have to like up their game if they want to be accepted in this neighborhood now after that situation. but not the asshole. A little cheeky, but you know, you gotta put your foot down sometimes when the opposite is being pretty bad dicks.
Yeah. I honestly, I feel like this is similar to my story. I was being a good, neighbor. The last week when we had the snowstorm, or actually 2 weeks now, it seems like.
It's like almost like, yeah, we just never know.
I know it's all blurred. Well, of course, they keep saying we're gonna get more snow. We have prepared getting our tools for our car, the Volvo. Being your vehicle, need to have a little bit longer tool and a little more bigger scraper, right? The guy comes out, he's looking at his car. I was like, I'm just gonna keep. I had to go to work, so I'm just focusing. And this guy's like, "Can I borrow that?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Hey, that's all you can do. That, at least they ask.
Yeah.
All right, then, everyone. Thanks again for listening. Liz, thanks for joining me once again. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, everyone, wish Liz a happy birthday down in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Anchor, there's a link. Not a link. There's a.
Or join our Discord and let me know personally.
Oh, true. There you go. Join our Discord. I completely forgot. Join our Discord and you can say happy birthday to her there. As on there, you can always check out some of the other things we're talking about: movies, TV shows, and the like. Yeah. So, everyone, thanks again for listening and watching, or watching, whichever. You can do both. Do both. So, until next time, see ya. Bye.
Bye.